Signs, signs everywhere, signs. Signs for your business and signs for your ride. SignBros is the place where we make your signs.
Hello.
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 We are the SignBroCast. Welcome to the SignBro podcast. And we have a special guest today, Mr. Chuck Debroder. Chuck
Yes.
D in the house.
Chuck D in the house.
Chuck
Hey,
D.
hey, welcome. We finally got it done. You know, all these quarantine challenges and everything. I'm so happy
Yeah.
to be here in East El Paso at the Sign Brothers to talk with the Sign Bros.
And you're a busy guy
Yeah.
and very patient because we were back and forth. And I thought for a while, I made him sick of me.
No, I wasn't at all. And in fact, I was taking, you never stop learning in life. So I was taking a course. I was doing the weather digital marketing, Chuck Debroder Weather.
Cool.
And we've had Toyota sponsor our week's worth of weather for 2 years now, over 2 years. And then I am a master hypnotist, certified mind therapist,
Wow.
and a sleep coach. I help people sleep consistently and all night long. You know, I'll give you
Nice.
some free hints
Pointers.
here and some
man.
pointers coming up.
Wow.
Was Carlos stalking you, trying to get you on the show?
I think so. He was sleep texting when he did fall asleep a little bit.
I was trying to get you to do those techniques on me.
Yeah, no, and I will for sure. And then, and I'll put him to sleep during the cast, and then, you guys.
Oh,
It's like cuddling or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you able to do it? Just put somebody to sleep without them knowing, or they have to be cooperative?
They have to want to change, but everybody, we're all hypnotized 86% of our waking hours. Have you ever driven home, all of a sudden you look up and you're like, I don't remember the trip. How did I get here?
And usually,
Yeah.
they'll text you when I do that.
Yeah. Well,
You're not talking about
exactly.
drinking,
No. Yeah, and that's in your Uber when you're in the back seat.
Of course.
Yeah. But
Like that.
yeah, you go from beta, the awake state, to alpha, the first level of hypnosis. Then theta is the state in between sleep and awake. It's the state right before you go to sleep at night or when you're in the shower, when you're not quite awake, in the morning. And then delta is where we want to be when we sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and that's the most reparative part of
Wow.
sleep. So there you go.
We were
Interesting.
talking with somebody yesterday. Somebody made a post on Facebook, and they were saying that my husband, he snores, but he swears that he's not asleep. And
I'm one of those husbands.
I am too. I swear that I'm completely awake. And she's like, "You were snoring."
Well, and then you go from theta to alpha to maybe beta again awake, and you hear yourself snore at the end of a snore sometimes.
I have that, yeah.
Okay. There are some techniques. It's the way you sleep. If I sleep on my back, I breathe loud, my wife says, which is not quite a snore in the Spanish translation. I'm not sure, but she says, you're breathing loud. I'm like, you want me to breathe, right? you want me to stay. But I'm also an actor. So I'm a hypnotist, a meteorologist, and an actor. I'm in a commercial tomorrow night for the Workforce Commission, Texas
cool. Nice.
Workforce. And it's a takeoff on the Step Brothers scene where they're applying for a job. And I play the Will Ferrell character.
Cool.
Nice.
Wow.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So we jumped ahead to what you're currently doing now with your hypnosis and all that other stuff too. But let's go back. Where are you from originally, man?
I was born on a cold winter day, January 17th.
In the
and,
ghetto.
Mom and Dad even got stuck on the way to the hospital, Porter Memorial Hospital in Denver.
Denver.
And after they delivered me, they stopped delivering babies. I don't know if there was a correlation there, but
This is it.
This is
We've
it.
made it.
Perfection.
Perfection.
The ultimate child.
No, I think it was the other way. I'm like, hey, I don't know if we want to bring babies into the world like this. But no, I believe my sister was born there too. But I just in the back of my mind always loved weather. It's always changing. You cannot see it coming because of the foothills in the Rocky Mountains of Denver. So that was always an influence. And I always wanted to talk. And I tell this story a lot, but it is so representative of, I used to talk too much in kindergarten. And the teacher is attempting to teach. And God bless all the teachers, number one. But number two, kindergarten teachers, come on. You know, it's there's zookeeper and then kindergarten teachers right there. But she said, hey, Chuck, I got an idea. Go with me here. And she took me out of the classroom into an empty classroom, gave me a Fisher-Price kind of microphone karaoke type toy and said, Chuck, pretend you're on the radio and just do your own little show. I said, hey, how cool. So I just started talking. She left. She came back. She had forgot about me. Came back over an hour later, and I was still talking.
What's going the weather?
So,
do you have any guests? Or
yeah,
janitor?
imaginary, yeah, you know. And she knew I was destined for a career in radio. But yeah, Colorado, and I still love it. It's changed so much. I call it the marijuanification of Denver.
Yeah.
It's 2 years ago, the minimum fixer-upper house you can't find anymore in Denver Metro was starting at $500,000. That's with non-working plumbing and whatever, you know. Wow. And in Boulder, you can't even find a home that is less than $1 million.
Wow.
So
Boulder,
In Denver, huh?
yeah, just
Boulder.
outside. Ooh. Yeah, and you know, Boulder used to be a hippie town, and I remember growing up. And then all the hippies, after 15 years of college to get one degree, they finally got a degree and became yuppies and made all kinds of money because they really knew a lot after 15 years of college. And back then, the student loans weren't as high. So
Sure.
Yeah, got you.
And so what brought you to El Paso?
Well, I looked all over. I drove to 26 TV stations. It was before, you know, online and job hunting. I couldn't afford an agent. I thought I didn't even know. Now I should have probably hired somebody out.
It'd been a lot easier.
Yeah, it would have been. And so Dad had given me one of his two cars, a 1980 Buick Skylark limited edition. The engine was actually sideways and had a shock absorber because it was a 4-cylinder, and the car was too heavy for the engine, so it lurched forward. You know, there we go when you stepped on the gas. But I ended up frying the engine in South Dakota, 20 below wind chill. Went out, and there was I'm looking at the blown hose, so it overheated and then froze right away, and so the heads were, you know, there you go.
Yeah.
But there was a badger outside, and I looked at him, and he showed his teeth. They're not very nice animals. And I'm like, what are you doing out here in the cold? But he was looking for something to eat, like me.
Yeah.
And I just told him, you fix the car. And I got in and waited for somebody to give me a ride. But I learned the process. When someone says no, you ask them why. And then you write down the reasons why. And then you adjust your plan and you go on from there. So I finally got a maybe in Lubbock, Texas at NBC. My girlfriend at the time got a $10,000 signing bonus because they needed nurses at UMC in Lubbock. And so I said, hey, I'll be your agent and negotiate that up. And we went there. I had worked at Chili's during my second degree in meteorology. I got my first degree from CSU Pueblo, it's called now. It was called USC back then. And so everybody thought
Southern
I went.
Colorado?
Yeah, Southern Colorado. Everybody thought I went to USC.
USC, hey, well,
yeah,
you did.
Yay. And
Did go to UC.
when I had a double emphasis in broadcasting and public relations. I did corporate public relations for Adolph Coors Company in Golden, Colorado.
Yes.
I did corporate advertising. I sold the image, not the beer. And so I learned a lot during that. And I got $10 an hour for doing that. But I also got my foot in the door because the toughest college job in the world, I worked 5 summers at the world's largest single-site brewery, Adolph Coors Company. I got 8 cases or 2 kegs a month of half-price beer. There were 5 women tour guides from Stanford, from the real USC, from East Coast schools. Beautiful. 5 women tour guides to every guy, and I got $10 an hour. One day I would drive the tour bus through the old west town of Golden and into the brewery. Next day I'd park cars. Next day I'd bus used glasses in the beer sampling lounge. Next day I'd give 8 tours of the brewery.
Nice.
And at that time it was the only brewery in the country where you could drink on the job. So you could have a beer on your break or
On the tour.
on the lunch if you weren't driving or working heavy equipment. Then on the tour you got 2 free beers.
Wow.
And the record was a frat guy from the School of Mines, which is the most difficult college in the country to stay in. Like 80% of the freshmen do not graduate.
Wow.
Right? It is a geological mining engineering college, but they've got 10 frats there, and I'm like, how do you steady at that level and still party? But they would have party times, and when they partied. They went to Coors, and they brought changes of clothes, went into the restroom, so then they could get another 2 more beers for free.
Wow.
So it was a smart school then.
There we go. Anyway, I'm going back in my memories, but I graduated, was working at Chili's. They said maybe. We went to Lubbock, and the news director said, "Oh, Chuck, it's my last day. I'm going to get a PR job with the Lubbock Independent School District. Good luck." So I got a job at Chili's in Lubbock, and then I finally got hired by the new news director a few months later from the same station, and they paid me $8 an hour to do weekend weather in Lubbock, Texas. That was the minimum wage.
Wow.
So I made more money as a Chili's waiter than I did on TV.
Wow.
And, I love telling this story too, but I'd go, "Hey, how about a top shelf margarita or an IBC root beer?" And they'd look at me and they'd go, "Chuck, man, I love your weather. I watch you every night. What are you doing here?" I'm like, "How do you like your fajitas?"
Trying to make ends meet.
I got to pay my rent, got to pay 2 college degrees.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's my background.
Oh, cool, man.
And then from there, jump into El Paso?
Yeah, El Paso called me and said, "How would you like 2.5 times what you're making at both your jobs
Oh, nice.
to move to El Paso?" And I said, "I've always loved El Paso." And
Right.
I'm hopping in a car, and my girlfriend at the time looked and looked at the size of El Paso and said, "You should have asked for more money." But came in, and I got paid more than what they're paying TV people now, which doesn't. It just shows you the. And they really cared about I have an American Meteorological Broadcast Seal of Approval. I have a National Weather Association Broadcast Seal of Approval. I know weather. Now, in El Paso, they didn't value that as much as Oklahoma or some of the tornado cities, but they still wanted to be competitive with, hey, our meteorologist has 2 seals.
Yeah.
And so they hired me. They neglected to say it was only Jim Gamble at the time as the main weather guy, and they only planned to hire me. So I had to play the part of a morning guy and a weekend.
Oh, shoot.
So I would record Monday mornings at 11 o'clock Sunday night, and then Jim would record Tuesday morning on Monday night. So I would get my weekend started at 11 o'clock on Sunday and ended at 9 p.m. or whenever I went to bed Tuesday, because I had to get up at first at 12:30 at night to go to work to do the morning show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I did 5 and 10 on the weekends.
Wow.
But I got a lot of reps, and it's all about practice, and that's one of my keys to success. And they finally hired a third guy, so I could take vacations and other things.
And this was for KTSM right away?
KTSM right away.
You've always been with them, right?
Yeah, I was there 23 years, 4 months. I was a child prodigy. Started when I was 12. I was with them for many, many years. Now, when the advertising revenue dropped, they fired the main female anchor. They did not renew the contract of Bo Bagley, our sports director, who had been there 12 years. Don Guevara, our main anchor, he was the next not to renew the contract. And then they canned me out of the blue, September 12th, what was it, 2019? It was 2018, September 12th. And they couldn't even give the unemployment agency, the Texas workforce, why they fired me. You know, they made up rumors based on my rep, you know, because I used to like to go out and watch live music, have a couple beers after work. And so,
I remember seeing you a couple times,
and then, you know, I'd get up and bust a flow because I was taught, you know,
Somebody told me that you freestyle.
I was the original Slim Shady before Slim Shady. Yeah, I was taught by a guy, Spoonie Beach, out of Oakland, and he was on my radio station. We were doing a promo, and then I found that I could find words before I said them that would rhyme, or as Eminem says, bend them to fit the rhyme. And so, I've rapped in front of 5,000 bikers at Rods and Reels.
I remember Rods and Wheels.
Rods and Wheels on Montana. Had them all going, hey, ho. And I've, you know, so I had a kind of a rep as being a sociable, wild, and crazy guy. And so they made up an underground rumor, but they couldn't really even say. But, you know, it was the best thing for me because they made me work 3 months at one period as the only weather guy. They fired the other 2 weather people to save money. I had to record the morning show, had to work noon, 5, 6, and 10, Monday through Friday, and then work the weekends. Then I worked another 6 months, 6 days a week once they hired one.
Wow.
And it, you know, this is what I tell people now with my sleep coaching and with my hypnosis. Your health is the number one thing to be grateful for, right? And so, long story short, through the stress and valuing my career, putting my TV meteorology career above my health, I came 2 days from leaving the planet.
Wow.
My foot size tripled. I gained 100 pounds in water weight. My mitral valve stopped pumping water out of my body. And Channel 9 still made me go to work where my wife had to walk me from the weather center to the weather wall where I was out of breath. It was obvious that I had to buy bigger suits. I was wearing Crocs that I could barely fit in. And none of the doctors here figured out what was wrong. At Central Medical in Juarez, because I thought I couldn't afford my deductible on my health insurance, they said it might be your heart. But none of the doctors here nailed it. So then when I was at Angels Hospital in Juarez, the number one cardiologist in Mexico was taking his residents around and said, hey, this guy's dying of congestive heart failure. So I went across the border back here because my insurance said, well, we'll pay 50% of what we choose to pay in Mexico, or we'll pay everything but $4,000 here. Oh, okay. So I come here, and the cardiologist is like, Chuck, why didn't you see me 2 months before? And my wife had to hear conversations of the surgeon and the cardiologist saying, we need to operate now. And he's like, no, we need to drain more water off, give it 2 days. But the surgeon's like, I don't know if he's going to last 2 days. So that you know, and you would think that would open my eyes, but I still loved TV so much that then I went from 187 to 290 pounds in water weight. Then I went from 290 down to 159 in 9 days. So it shocked my thyroid. So I went back from 159 to 248. Then I lost through going to a gym from 248 to 200. And then last year I lost another 27 pounds. I'm about 69 pounds lighter than what I was 4 years ago. So,
Wow. So you went from Carlos to Ike to me.
there, yeah. Oh wow.
Back to me. Back to him.
Drastic.
Yeah. One of the reasons why we wanted to get you on here, Chuck, is because you're known throughout the city, man. Everybody loves you, and your name itself is a brand. And that's the name of our broadcast is Up in Your Business, and you say, well, we know you do business, but your name is a brand.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and every time we bring up your name, or we say we were hoping to get Chuck on. Oh no, he's great. Everybody loves Chuck Debroder, man. Everybody loves Chuck D.
And thank you. And I don't know if you should have given me more caffeine. I'm a talking animal here today. But I thank you, number one. Number two, you are your own brand.
Of course.
That's why Dale Carnegie, in a loosely translated quote, he basically said, another person's name is the sweetest sound that they can hear, right? Now, you don't want to overdo that in sales. Have you ever heard that? Well, hey, Chuck, and well, Chuck, and yes, Chuck. And then on the third Chuck, you're like, okay. Yeah, there you go. But your name is also your brand. And Sign Brothers here, and Up in Your Business for the podcast, and the BroCast. I love that. But your name is a product. And my TV station, I went through 7 general managers and 18 newsroom managers, called news directors, in 23 years, 4 months. So just with that right there should tell you how tumultuous that TV station was and still is. They're down to, soon they'll be next door to you here in your offices, because it's, right now we're doing what radio stations did for years, right? With a lot less expensive equipment. You guys got excellent equipment, but back in the day for radio stations, it was pretty expensive. Now you can become your own TV station with your cell phone. I'm going to start doing live streamings on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook all at the same time.
Nice.
And you can put up CGs, where the name pops up on and it'll be on Zoom as well. But it's through a company called StreamYard, and I'm going to do that. Anybody can do that, and you can have a talk show like you're doing right now. Are you on your Facebook right now?
We're not live.
Okay.
It'll be posted.
Okay, you're recording. Okay, make sure you let me know, and then I'll share it
for sure.
all our
And
platforms.
we're going to put all your information that you want to put on screen so people can get a hold of you.
Nice.
To be hypnotized, or when you cuddle with them to help them sleep better, or whatever you do, they can get a hold of you.
And people now, they're like, no wonder I always used to watch you. You were hypnotizing me while you were on TV doing the weather.
Now it makes sense.
And I said, well, yeah. And then I was hypnotizing you to make you think I was more accurate in the weather, too. But, yesterday I hit the my predicted high. The Weather Service went 74, and those guys are hardworking. They do an excellent job. But I had been here enough to know that the westerly wind was going to make us warmer. So we hit my predicted high of 77 on the dot. Same for the case the day before, hit my predicted high of 72. So now it's at the airport. And as comedian George Carlin always used to say, how many people live at the airport? Right. It really should be an average of like 6 weather stations around the El Paso, especially because of the Franklin Mountains dividing the city, to really give the true temperature, right? The average.
How do you handle? I'm sure everybody knows you as the weather guy, and I'm sure the main question that you get is, "Hey, Chuck, how's the weather?" I'm right. I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, no. They ask me how the weather is, and then they're like, "Well, can I message you because my daughter's getting married in April or whatever?" And then they psychically think that I could control the weather.
Hypnotize
Hypnotize the sun.
And then again, and I've mentioned this on a few shows, but the rain percentage is the percentage of the forecast area. So if El Paso has a 20% chance of rain, 20% of El Paso is going, Chuck was right on. The other 80% is like, oh man,
Doesn't know what
Chuck
he's
missed this
talking
one. Yeah. But, you know, the people that you were right on with the forecast, they love you.
Sure.
But if they have an outdoor event, especially concert promoters were the worst. Like, well, can you make sure that it's not 60-mile-per-hour winds? And, you know, there was a Dixie Chicks show with some other artists, country show, in the Sun Bowl one year. Promoter was calling me. I'm like, move the concert time up. Tell everybody. I was telling them 3 days before, you could go out on media. They were tight. They didn't want to spend the money. But I said, move it up, because the time you're going to be doing it, you're going to have 60-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts. Sure enough, the stagehands barely got Nancy Maines from Lubbock, Texas, and the other girls off the stage as the stacks blew over
Wow.
the stacks of speakers. And he says, man, Chuck, he called me after, I should have listened to you. Or, you know, down the film festival had an outdoor movie thing. They did it all outdoor this year, and it was like pop-up drive-in movie theater, which I thought was a cool idea. But they did this, and the organizer would call me every year, Chuck, it looks like rain. We can't have rain. I'm like, well,
what do you
Let me talk to the man up above, see what I can do.
yeah, and that's whatever you believe in God and the powers of the universe. They're in control. I'm just a deliverer of the message.
And for the times that you are off, or people think you're off, do they tell you in public?
Sometimes, yeah. And it used to be, when I started, you could be 5 degrees or less off, and no big deal. Now it's 3, but now people are even saying 3's too much.
They remind you.
So I like to be just 2 or less. If I'm 3 or more now, I don't put I was only 3 degrees off, because that doesn't hold the weight it did 20 years ago. I say I was just 2 degrees off, and that's okay. Just one. Yeah.
Can you put like from 71 to 74?
You know, the weather service did that, and they still do that occasionally.
Oh, do they really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they put that in the forecast, zone forecast. They'll go, El Paso will be between 80 and 85.
Gotcha.
And back when I started meteorology, it was like 80 to 90. Oh, well, that's a big...
Just cover all ranges.
Yeah.
How many days can you?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
How many days ahead can you tell?
You know,
Realistically.
I just go 7. You know, before I left 9, they had a 9-day forecast. And when you get out to even the 7th day on, it goes... It skews to the statistical average high and low. And at the recording time of recording, this is February 4th, right, and Thursday. But at the time of recording this, the average low is 35. The average high is 61 for El Paso. So this morning, we dipped down to a low that was, yesterday was 46. And I went 45. This morning was, I believe, like 39. Or no, excuse me. Strike that, was 49, because the winds kept it up. 49 degrees. So, yeah, you really, it's kind of tough. But once you dial it in and you know the climatology of the area, it's a lot easier. So I've been forecasting here for May 29th. Will be 26 years.
Wow.
Here
So you
in El
already
Paso.
know the
But-
patterns and all that.
Yeah, so the end of the forecast period, the 7-day and the 9-day, it skews more towards that 61 and 35. And sure enough, next Thursday, the predicted high is 62 degrees on the models. So I have to say, is it really going to be? So I bumped it up to 68, because we're going to have westerly winds, and we're not going to see the colder air until next Friday, and it'll be, originally I thought 54, now I bumped it up to 58. So next Friday. So.
Wow.
Interesting. And because
that's crazy.
and you're already doing stuff online, so which is everything's already going towards online. Do you think that in the near future, as far as TV, people that are in the field you do might not necessarily?
It's already happening.
It's already
happening.
And you know, those people that wanted to become a broadcaster and wanted to go to college and get $50,000 in debt or more. Now, that's the least suggested major to go into radio, TV broadcasting. They now changed it to social media influencer. But you just hire somebody who is one to teach you how to do it in 3 to 6 months instead of going 4 to 5 years and paying. But at ASU, you can go there and make your parents poor and become a social media influencer. But we're on all the social. Somebody down in South Texas, just to be cheap, Nexstar, the owners of Channel 9, they actually before Nexstar, Comcor, they took the Brownsville, Texas NBC and had us do the news and weather up here in El Paso live at 4 for their 5 o'clock newscast because they were in Central. From the same studio as Channel 9, we just changed the logos and changed the background. And for 10 years, they were perpetrating a fraud saying the news anchor and the weather guy was down in Brownsville. And that weather guy, the main guy, was Robert Bettis, and I would have to fill in. So I knew the PR guy, and he was like, after I was let go, number one, my wife, God bless her, the hardest working woman. She does more work in 2 hours than 20 people do in 2 weeks. She does 30 posts a morning on all our social media platforms that are movie posts of animated movies, of Toyota logo popping up, their phone number, and then like a sale, and then the 7-day forecast. Wow. And that's posted twice a day, mornings and evenings, and then weekend mornings and holiday mornings. We do that. And then I'm ranking YouTube videos. I rank them to number 1 on YouTube. Google owns YouTube. So the videos that go through our YouTube page, we're up to 337,000 YouTube subscribers on Chuck Debroder YouTube. Go there, subscribe, ring the bell. Sure. Yeah. But I can rank your business's videos above the first search terms on Google. Because once it climbs to number 1 on YouTube, it climbs above the first search terms. And then on mobile, it's even above the paid ads, your video. Wow. So, and I haven't checked, but I believe El Paso best weather website, I'm number 1, 2, and 3 on YouTube. And now it's pretty specific keywords. Yeah. But it then helps you in the popular keywords. So I rank up in those too, in the top 3, and then the video climbs up.
And I'm sure your wife's, you said she's a hard worker, and she obviously got you from going out in the clubs and stopping that wild life.
Oh, well, yeah, you know.
or is that still going on, man?
Well, you know.
I want to go and party with Chuck D.
Yeah, everybody said that. There was even a meme, you know, you really haven't partied in El Paso until you've done a shot with Chuck Debroder or something like that.
Bring the bottle. We have a bottle of tequila.
Yeah. You know, it's good to have a Latina fuerte in your life. Of course. You know, like I was trying on a tux for this commercial I'm in tomorrow night, and I got stuck in traffic. There were accidents everywhere yesterday on I-10. 2 of them going I-10 west, 1 in the morning, 2 rollovers that actually stopped I-10 old school style where everybody was completely stopped going west. And there was one going east before US 54. And so I was a little late trying on the tux. And I got a check-in call. Hey, what's going on? Where are you? Okay, I'm just, they're wrapping up the tuxes now. But
you're not at any clubs or bars, are you, Chuck?
But here's the thing. I wasn't every night, but I was going out after work.
Having a good time
because of the mental stress. But that's an excuse. And now I think of the time and the money I wasted because now I'm an entrepreneur and I coach people to sleep. But when you have a couple drinks at 11:30 at night, you're not going to get a very good quality of sleep. And, you know, I get to sleep at like 1. I'd wake up. But because of I wasn't going out all the time. I wasn't getting stumbling drunk. You know, I was having a couple drinks. But people get that reputation. Like people would say, hey, Chuck, man, I always see you at Cincinnati area. I'm like, okay, first, hold up. What does that say about you? If you
always-
always see me out, then you're always out too, right? But
Checking the weather.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
check
but-
the weather around the Cincinnati
but
area.
because of the fact that I was on TV, people made that judgment.
Yeah, of course.
And we shouldn't judge anybody, you're right? But actually, the judgments about me were wrong, but it also helped my brand. Marilyn Monroe said, "You can write or say anything you want about me, just make sure you spell my name right."
Oh, nice.
And how brilliant was that? She played a ditzy blonde. She was probably one of the
Smartest
best
girl, yeah.
branding, marketing people of her time ever. And so, people have Chuck Debroder stories. Are half of them true? Maybe 42%. But,
Me and
number.
Nate,
Yeah.
me and Nate, early 2000s, maybe late 90s, we went clubbing and
bumped into
I
you.
bumped into you. And first thing I said was, Chuck, how's the weather?
One of those
You
cheesy
just have
ones.
to accept it, right?
And-
you just got.
and
I
you-
mean, you finally accepted it that's what they're gonna ask me. And
You
I'm
went
just
into
gonna
the
go with it.
7-day forecast right away.
Oh
right,
yeah,
right on the
no,
spot.
it's my duty.
Yeah.
And it's my job. And I think we're going to make fun of that in a lighthearted way with the Texas Workforce Commission and Bianca Cervantes, great young woman who I worked with as a producer at Channel 9. She heads the PR for that. And Gina Rowe Davis with Rave Marketing, they said, "Hey, Chuck, you'd be ideal for that because can you imagine me, Walmart wouldn't hire me because no one would get in the front door because I'd
Yeah.
be giving the forecast
Gotcha.
to everybody,
Yeah, line behind you.
Can you see me at a carniceria,
Yeah, no.
giving the forecast and the line backing up,
Yeah, no. Well, I thought it was great that you just, this is what I am and this is what I do, and if they ask me what the weather is, I'm gonna give them the weather. All right.
And also, I wanted to let them know I'm just blowing off a little steam. I'm having fun like you,
Yeah.
and whatever. But now, number one, drinking does slow down your metabolism. So, in not going out now, I've lost a lot of weight, and that's part of the reasons. I've got some other reasons. Again, my wife, she makes cucumber, apple, and lemon juice. That is a key, everybody. I'm giving that out for free. But you blend that up in the blender, you drink it. Now, the first couple of days you're drinking that,
Cucumber, apple,
green apple and lemon. And you can even, if you have the super duper ninja, you can grind up the rinds, because there's a lot of nutrients in the rinds. But the first couple of days you do that, you need to be near a restaurant. That's all I'm saying there.
Point taken.
Right through you.
But you will lose 5 pounds in 2
Wow.
weeks,
Okay.
at least,
Really?
if not quicker.
Good to know.
Wow, you're just
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Going to double up on that one.
Your knowledge is everywhere, man.
Yeah,
I feel smarter just being with you.
Ready to
today.
get ready to get hypnotized now?
You buy the apples and lemons,
Sure.
and I'll do it. Oh, wait, hypnotize. Oh, I'm talking about drinking that stuff.
Oh, that too.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did actually pre-hypnotize on a podcast here on the east side at is it DAT Studios, a dance studio acting
LAT.
studio.
LAT, yeah.
LAT. There we go. They would
We
kill
saw
me
that.
to
I
get
saw
that
it.
We
wrong.
actually had George on here, didn't we?
We had him. Yeah.
George, yeah, he is a great LAT. Sorry, George, but he's got one on the west side and the east side, and great dance studio. But I hypnotized one of their instructors who went down right away, and they were just blown away. It is, a lot of hypnotists they want as many people as they can to pick, but because of this COVID, I've had to do some commercial shoots for my hypnosis business where only 1 out of 8 people I invited showed up, and I've hit 100% success rate on all of them.
Wow.
But it is the way that first they have to believe in you. So I do some exercises to make them believe that, hey, he just released something in the power of my mind that we all have. But our conscious mind is kind of like the bodyguard or the bouncer of our minds, and says, hey, Chuck needs to smoke to be Chuck, so we're going to keep him smoking. We're going to remind him to go buy more cigarettes. So if I can send the bodyguard out on a break and talk to the subconscious mind and put in the images of a black tar-filled lung, the taste of licking an ashtray, the smell of cigarettes on your clothes, and put all the senses in there. And actually, I make smokers physically ill. We have to have a bucket there in the session just in case, because then when they come out of that alpha or theta state, the next time they go to reach for a cigarette, all those senses are rushing right through, and they're like, nah,
Wow.
I'm not going to do it.
Gotcha.
But you let them know you're going to do that before you actually do it.
And there's certain ways of speaking that now almost every politician, every advertiser uses neuro-linguistic programming, which was based on Milton Erickson, a famous psychologist, psychiatrist, and hypnotist, and his hypnotic way of talking to
monotone
people
voice.
and putting them into a hypnotic state. He wasn't a very nice guy, but he had some brilliant ways to put people. So you hear the saying for the last 5 years, moving forward, right? You hear politicians moving forward and PR people and sports people, coaches going, moving forward. That means we want you to forget the shellacking of a game we just didn't play and we've got our butts handed to us. Moving forward, we're going to make a change at the quarterback position and we're going to do this. So that is mentally telling somebody, forget everything that just happened. You're going to face your ship towards the future, right? You're going to look at the future of our team, the Denver Broncos.
Yes, sir.
You know
it.
And so there you go. All these little things have crept into our language from Milton Erickson because of NLP. So I use a little bit of that, and I'll get people comfortable. And I always say in a calm, safe, relaxed, secure way, we're going to do that. And people use their visualization, and we all do it. Hypnosis is just daydreaming. That's it. And we do it most of our day. 86% of our day, we're in our fantasy world. So.
And do you do that? I know you said that you do the sleep thing, but the hypnosis, you do that professionally as well?
I do, and I do see people in person, and it's COVID safe. We use the masks, we use separation and air filter, and so it's totally safe. And I can change someone's mind. I call it a mind shift, and change their habits and re-energize them within an hour with one session. Now, weight loss, stop smoking, and sports hypnosis, like I've do a cross-country runner, a fitness model, and some others. It takes more than one session.
Gotcha.
Because you always want a booster session before your competition, right? Mike Tyson attributes his animalistic wins and fights of his first of the career to his hypnotist.
That's the motto.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Love hearing that story.
Yep.
Crazy, man.
Wow, we'd love to have you come back sometime and maybe actually do something on.
Oh yeah, no, we could do that. It just takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes of prep before we go on the air.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Well, and here's the thing.
You'll be it.
People are like, oh, I thought hypnosis would turn me into a zombie, like in the movies or TV shows, or stage hypnosis, comedy stage hypnosis. You see the comedians. And some of my fellow hypnotherapists say, oh, no, comedy stage hypnotism and hypnotherapy are completely different. No, they are
Same
exactly
thing,
the
oh,
same
got
thing.
you.
They use the same techniques. Stage hypnosis, they got to find the people quicker and get them under quicker. In hypnotherapy, I want to take a little bit more time, because the more time I get you to drop into those states, the longer you're going to stay in there, and the more effective what I say to your subconscious will be.
Gotcha.
What happens if they stay hypnotized? Can somebody stay hypnotized?
No, you can never be stuck in hypnosis. Have you ever watched a good movie and it was so good it just took you into that movie to the point where something startles the character on the movie and you jump back, even watching TV, watching
out of it.
Netflix, you have actually dropped into a hypnotic state.
Wow.
Now, after the movie, walking out of the theater, you come back to reality. You're not going to stay in that state. So if I were to hypnotize somebody, leave them on the couch, they may stay there for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but eventually they'll wake up and they'll be fine.
Gotcha.
But what about when they do like trigger words? When you hear the word this, you're gonna blah, blah. Does that
What I
kinda
say,
last a while,
when I do anchors or triggers, when I say the word sleep, when you hear my voice and only my voice say sleep, that's when you'll drop a deeper, 10,000 times deeper into this state we call hypnosis. So there we go.
That sounds good.
Worked just
And
fine.
so I say it's just with my voice. Now, if I happen to be just talking to, and I'll say, hey, Carlos, I didn't get any sleep last night, and you were an excellent subject, you would drop down like that.
Even after the session's way over, like days later.
Yeah, just hearing my voice.
Wow.
Or yeah, and that's why when I did hypnosis in person, I would have unique trigger words because they could be watching my weather on TV, and then I'd say, well, when you fall asleep tonight, and they, then there'd be the
Wow.
Bodies are dropping.
But with
They're dropping.
Mike, I got to give a shout out to Mike McKay. He was a radio DJ here for years, KSEC Country. He was on the Fox a couple times. He was up in 101 Gold in Las Cruces, which he's co-owner of the 5 Las Cruces stations. Cool. But he started off on WABC in New York as a young guy. But he has done the Star Wars toy commercials for Hasbro, How to Train Your Dragon toy commercials, the Geico motorcycle commercial.
Wow.
But he did my opening and helped me record a professional binaural beat. I have 5 recordings for complete mind therapy, for weight loss, stop smoking, anxiety and phobia erasing, and then insomnia. I have all those. But I actually use binaural beats, which help people drop down into that as well. But as they always say, you cannot be listening to this while driving or working, working the wood saw in your garage, So,
Yes.
Very interesting, man. Well, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it.
and again, did I talk too long for your cast?
This is all
No, no,
about,
no.
man. Everybody wants to hear your story.
But we
Chuck.
also know your wife's. You mentioned something about your wife doing some cooking shows or something. We want to have her
Yeah,
on.
Cooking with Rosario.
Nice.
We're going to get back into the swing with that. She had a co-host from Televisa Juarez that was kind of stuck there for a while, renewing her visa, coming back. But it's in Espanol, but then in the breaks, we do the recipes in English. And then you can go to Chuck Debroder YouTube and watch recipes that she just has music and how much you put in of the ingredients, her putting it in. And she is a professional chef, a pastry chef.
Nice.
She is also a master's degree holder in semiology, the power of symbols, and linguistics, the power of language. So I
You're a
just hypnotized
unique
her
couple,
for
man.
the first time ever, and it did work amazingly. But she is
now
so...
you can get her to do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
there we go. Now, am I still a man? And, as a man in a relationship, listen up, fellows. Once you realize that everything that happens in this world is somehow your fault, the relationship is golden. It works very smoothly. There you go.
Gotcha.
But she is brilliant. But go to Chuck Debroder. You'll get recipes and crafts as well. She makes things crochet and stuff. So it's cooking, crafts, and weather together right there.
Wow, awesome. Well, you sound like a very unique couple, man.
Yeah.
For sure. Maybe we can get her on here to
Definitely.
do some cooking. We can get Carlos to eat, and then we can hypnotize you for weight loss.
There we go, right there.
Whoa.
Hey, we can
That's a
nail
one
it
big
all in
show.
one
Yeah,
session.
yeah,
You're gonna market the whole thing. Nice.
Yeah, man.
And
Any last things you want to let the people of Paso know, Chuck?
wow, just look me up on all the weather platforms. Chuck Debroder Weather On Facebook, it's Chuck Debroder, Certified Meteorologist, WX Chuck on Instagram, Chuck Debroder, Twitter, LinkedIn. We do the forecast on LinkedIn, and this is called a nested loop. I'm going to go back to a story I already did. But that promo guy down in Brownsville goes, Chuck, you're breaking all the rules. You're putting weather on LinkedIn. Well, I said, until LinkedIn says I can't do it, There
you go.
Yeah.
And I've got truckers on there that say, hey, thank you for that high wind warning.
Wow.
Going through Guadalupe Pass, because I'm going to not go that way, and have my semi blow over.
Yeah.
Wow.
So follow us there, Lightning Hypnosis. And hypnosis is amazing. And you remember everything that goes on. It's not like the movies or TV. You remember pretty much everything. But I talk to your subconscious mind, and we together work to make positive changes and influence your life, so I can help you erase anxiety, which is like fear. It's false reality. We invent our own anxiety. So if you take action, you cannot be fearful. You can't have anxiety if you just keep busy and doing something you love. So that's some advice there. But get a hold of me, Lightning Hypnosis, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
YouTube, all that stuff.
YouTube. Just started the YouTube channel. We're up to 337,000 strong on YouTube. Like and subscribe. But do message me, and we'll get you. I even do some free forecasts or whatever. But think about sponsorship, and then think about getting a sign from the Sign Brothers over here on East.
I like that plug right there.
Because a new sign for, it gets customers' attention.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
We have a sign up there in the front of our shop that says, business with no sign is a sign of no business.
Exactly. And I like
very
the
true.
quote, signs are marketing. Marketing is business, and business is marketing. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Chuck D,
Thank you.
thanks for coming, man.
Appreciate it,
Really
Chuck.
Thank
enjoyed
you,
it.
guys.
Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, brothers.
Will you come back?
Thanks for letting
Ike,
us
Nathan,
prepare
Carlos.
our week.
You come back sometime
I
again?
will come back
Perfect.
soon if you'll have me.
Of course.
I
Hypnotize
want to be
all of us.
hypnotized. I'll do it.
Okay. We'll do some hypnosis. And, maybe we'll bring the boss, the CEO
Definitely.
of Chuck Weather,
Yes.
Rosario.
And Rosario's welcome to come do her own show, too, as well. Definitely.
That'd be cool.
Hypnotize me for the weight. He's a little pitchy when he sings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but did you guys, I took second in the state in barbershop in high school, and I sang in a musical.
Nice.
So I sang bass.
Oh, nice.
and-
really bass? I couldn't tell.
We just so you know, we sing every Thursday at the Moonlight. in
Oh,
Horizon.
wow.
Yeah, we sing. So
Acoustic classic
we'll talk
rock.
about
Come on
that.
and join it. Yeah,
Acoustic
definitely.
Get off.
Tonight.
Well, okay,
Tonight.
cool. What are some of your songs you sing? I just want to know real quick.
Classic rock,
some
Carry
Bee
On My
Gees,
Way,
some
Bee
Boston,
Gees, yeah.
Queen.
Oh, Bee Gees are
80s
hard.
Sticks.
Talk about having that falsetto. The
The
GBs.
GBs, the Gonzalez brothers.
Oh, but they were music geniuses, weren't they?
definitely.
They wrote for everybody, yeah.
Definitely.
So go check us out.
It's a good crowd. We have fun.
All right, I will
small
check you
crowd.
out. And,
Good food.
Thank you very much again. Check us all out, all of us on
Definitely.
social media.
You
We'll-
got it.
Yes.
We'll see you again next time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, once again, we are the SignBroCast. We're all up in your business. Thank you for Mr. Chuck D in the house. And we're signing off.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Time Rose is the place where we make a sign.